how'd you come up with the name Slapback?
It actually came from Cold Blooded Slapback. The song.
All right.
That was written when I had Jerasound. And then I was weird and getting so desperate, you just start calling out anything. Then you start calling out song names. And one of us said Cold Blooded Slapback, and I said, well, what about just Slapback? And we'll spell it wrong, B-A-K.
And the backwards B, who came up with that?
Actually, when Scott Julian and Verdine White were managing Slapback, that's when Scott Julian came up with that backwards B.
Yeah.
A lot of people forget Verdine White used to manage Slapback, which is really interesting.
What's he like? I've not met Verdine. I had Larry Dunn on this show not too long ago, but I've never.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Verdine is that man has a lot of energy. I tell you that.
Yeah.
The first thing Verdine told me when we first met, he goes, "You're probably too young to have seen Earth, Wind, and Fire live." I go, "Actually, yeah, I never had a chance to see Earth, Wind, and Fire live." And he goes, "Well, it's a good thing because if you did, you quit." I was just like, "Oh, it's great. Well, I'm glad I didn't see you guys because I don't want to quit." Verdine's great. He's a good friend still.
Yeah. So did guys like Bootsy or Verdine show you any bass tricks?
No, shame on Boots. I just remember when I picked up Bootsy's bass, and I'm just like, "You wear this through a whole set?" His bass is so heavy. That star bass.
Yeah.
Bootsy's got some strong shoulders. I tell you that.
He's a big guy.
Yeah. But and I don't know if you knew I played with Morris Day and the Time. Did you know that?
Did not know.
Yeah, so I did. That was kind of after the first two records, I kind of eased back on Slapback and I started doing some gigs that I was hired as a bass player. And so I played with Morris Day and the Time back in '97. Then when Slapback was doing more, we were Digital Underground's band. Slapback would play first, and then they would come and join us on our set. Then we would do the Digital Underground set.
That sounds like fun.
It was a lot of fun. And it's funny because Shock G saw us play. We warmed up for Digital Underground back in '97. He remembered us and looked us up in 2005 when he wanted to put this band together. And he found our website. And my manager's like, "Yeah, Shock G's trying to get a hold of you guys." I'm like, "He is?" I never met him, but we warmed up for him at the Belly Up in '97. And I didn't even get to see their show because I had to go off to another gig. So I never even met him. But then Shock G, he's those guys. And that's why Shock G loves P-Funk so much. We all come from the school of P-Funk. So naturally, it's easy for Shock G and I to vibe together. So he got on a couple Slapback songs and stuff, Good guy, too. I haven't talked to him lately. I heard he's a little different.
So when you were with the Time, Jared, was it challenging to play that material, especially like the 777 and 311 groove?
Playing bass? No. But the thing about the Time is I'm used to having to coach bands and stuff like that. So if someone told me in Slapback, "Hey, can you help me with this?" I'm glad to help because I feel like they care enough to get it right. So when I got on the Time gig, I didn't audition. Morris was going to use Slapback back when we were on Warner Brothers when he had the Guaranteed solo record out he had. It was going to be Slapback doing what we did with Digital Underground, like Slapback warm up. Then we were going to be Morris Day's band. So Morris had come to a few Slapback shows. He knew who I was, obviously, and Tori Ruffin was playing guitar with him, and my name came up, and it was kind of a done deal. Like, "Oh, if Jared could do it, that'll work." So they reached out to me, and they were on tour. So I never rehearsed with them. They sent me a VHS tape of their show, and Tori Ruffin, since he lived in LA, he was supposed to work with me. I worked with Tori one time. He's like, "Oh man, you got it." He didn't spend any time with me. So it took. I flew out to Kentucky for the first show. Morris came in the room chewing popcorn. Hey Jared, what's going on? Catching up. And we had sound check that night, and we played that night. No rehearsal. And I was like, these guys are tight. Morris Day and the Time is tight. And to just walk in, I was like, wow, this is good for me. That's wow. I'm like, I finished that show just like, okay, this is going to take some work.
Did you have to do the chili sauce slide and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, all that stuff. But what's funny, you mentioned 7779311. That was the hardest song to play and do the moves. It doesn't look that hard, but just the timing. It took a while. By the third show, though, I was sitting in the group pretty good. But I had some great times with those guys. I just saw them last year.
Did you happen to play at the House of Blues with them?
No, I didn't do any LA show. Every show I did with them at that time happened to be either in the South, we never played. I never played LA with them. But Slapback, but then a year later, after I wasn't playing with them, Slapback warmed up for him at the House of Blues. Then I came out on their set and did chili sauce with them. Yeah, guys.
So you guys came out with If It Ain't Broke, Don't Funk With It in 1995, and that was the next record I got, because frankly I was unaware of Blue Light Special.
Yeah. Because it was never released.
Oh, well, that's a good reason then.
Yeah. It's never released.
I thought maybe you gave it out at shows or something.
No, I didn't even make it available till late 90s.
Oh.
When I started making copies of CDs and stuff, and I just start, print out the artwork and just would sell it. But yeah, it was never released. So you had the first version of If It Ain't Broke, Don't Funk With It, the 95 version?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. How'd you get that?
Well, when it was in the stores, I got it.
Well, the second one was in the stores. The one with the Converse and the
yeah, that's the one I have.
Okay, yeah. So that came out. There was the first version came out in 95. That one came out in 96.
Okay.
Yeah, we come to jam.
As far as I knew, though, that was the second Slapback record.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
It was the second release.
Yeah. So, and that was on which label?
Raging Bull, which was Joe Iskro.
Oh.
I don't know if you know anything about Joe Iskro, but Joe Iskro was a big radio promoter. He was famous for he big part of Thriller getting played on the radio. Joe Iskro was kind of the mobby kind of character, and there's a whole chapter on him in that book Hitman.
Yeah, I read that book.
Yeah. So I didn't know that much about Joe Iskro at the time that we were on the label, but all I knew is that a lot of the funk bands I liked were going to Raging Bull. They had Cameo's record, the one that had Slide on it. So that was their first record after the one on Warner Brothers. So they went to Raging Bull. Raging Bull had all these Rick James and Act at the Emotions. So I thought, hey, these guys understand funk. This would be great. So I actually pursued them, and that was right after the OJ thing. So they were interested because OJ was going to do a video with us.
I didn't know.
Crazy. We don't have time for that story, but yeah, there's some interesting things that have happened over the years.
Yeah. Well, the OJ thing I'll never forget ever, because I was getting ready to watch the NBA Finals game with my friend, and I was living in Fox Hills, Culver City.
Yeah.
Yeah, and of course they preempted it for the Bronco chase.
Yeah.
And watching that, and then the Bronco is going down the 405 and they're chasing it, and I lived right next to the 405.
Wow.
I could hear the helicopters and see them outside my window, and I'm watching on TV. It was just so surreal.
It
The
was
whole thing.
nuts. Yeah, it was nuts. So yeah, when he got out of jail, when he was acquitted, uh, Milton Grimes, who was Rodney King's attorney, was a friends with a buddy of mine, and they were talking with OG about being in Slapback's video. Because at the time he was the most famous guy on the planet, you know? And again, it just comes from like probably where I grew up, and they're like, look, even if it's bad promotion, everyone will know who Slapback is. It was very tempting. But then part of me is like, that's not gonna happen. Long story short, OJ ended up calling me one time, and my girlfriend's like, "Hey, OJ's on the phone." I'm like, "What?" We met, got together, he met the whole band. We went and ate at Harpoon Henry's and hung out for like 3 hours and had a meeting about. He was serious, and I didn't know that Dana Point was Nicole Brown's family's backyard, and because I didn't follow the case like a lot of people did, so I didn't have any really strong feelings toward it, but I just knew that it was the whole topic was taboo, so I ended up deciding not to do it. But then that's when we signed to Raging Bull, because I signed with them like, we don't need to do this, we have another deal, and I decided not to do it.
I think that's probably.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. Because I know some people that they get so emotional with that stuff, they get hurt by it because they have so much emotion following this. I don't know why that was aired for everybody to watch in the first place.
Yeah, yeah.
You know.
So off that record, though, Sway, of course, was like the hit that I knew off it. How do you feel about how that record performed and how it turned out? Was it your vision?
But there was a version that was on the video that was played on BET that was on rotation. But then the remix is the one that if you can find it is worth some money. That one and we come those two. That one and We Come to Jam, and both had fingers doing talk box on them on those. And the Latin community really took to those two particular songs. And back when I thought nothing was happening with Slapback, I find out that like Cholos and everyone, they all loved We Come to Jam, and DJs played We Come to Jam, and they were buying We Come to Jam vinyl for $500 off of eBay and all this stuff. I'm like, what? Can I get a percentage? you know, it's just interesting. You just never know what to expect.
Yeah.
There's been times where I'm just like this. It was a good run. I tried, but it's just nothing's happening. Then all of a sudden I find out, in Europe, this is happening. Then we all end up going to Europe and touring over there. You know what I mean? It's just such an up and down thing. And I've never had solid management. And I think that would have helped in the whole venture of having like a solid management. But, we'd always call it the curse of slap.
How did your relationship end with that enterprise?
With
the raging
Raging Bull.
Yeah, how'd that end?
Well, it didn't end pretty because they did We Come to Jam. Ended up, there's some shyster stuff going on with the label, and I had an investor, so it was like a joint thing. I had Toxic Funk Records, and they were like the distributors. So my investor spent like $60,000 on Sway because that was going to be the next. No, spent $60,000 on We Come to Jam, and things didn't go right. And so they said, we'll make this happen with Sway. We'll make it up with Sway. And then when Sway came, all of a sudden, the distributor that they were using called it went bankrupt or whatever. So it was just a lot of wasted money. and they just kind of got away with just saying, we went bankrupt, and he ended up going to jail 2 years later. But I remember my manager wanting to really go after them hard, and he did some research on them in New York, and he came back and he didn't say anything else about it after that. He's like, no, these guys are the real deal. And he just said, I'm not gonna chase this. I'm not gonna shake these guys, because they do things kind of gangster. So we cut our losses. I'm like, fine, I'll just do another slapback record.
Yeah, I mean, you kept them coming. If you go to the Slapback website, you'll see them all there.
Yeah.
But there's Future Void and Return of the Fast Funketeers.
Mm-hmm. I like T Black for Black Radio.
Yeah, well, that's one of my favorites.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's great. I don't even think I have that artwork anymore. Oh, wow, you have that one. You have that one. That's the original one. That's great.
Yeah.
You might have to scan that artwork for me and send it to me.
Hey, no problem.
I don't have that artwork. It all went up in the fire. I don't have that artwork anymore.
Who drew this?
I did.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I did. And that's why we thought it was so funny, because I'm not good at drawing. So we're just like, everybody liked that though. It's like it was almost gonna be a video concept, that whole Stink Patrol, and it was like a story behind it.
Yeah, we're talking about Shock G appearance on there.
Yeah, right. So we ended up putting that on Underground Mayhem. A lot of albums, which I noticed George was doing a lot, would have kind of some songs from the other record on there. But it was really because there was so much changes with who's putting something out, or you guys can just keep that record and we're just going to go to this. You know what I mean? There was so much of that happening that we never just had a chance to just say, okay, we're doing this record and just start fresh. And except for my solo record, that's the first one in a long time.
Yeah, that's what was confusing to me, is I would see some of the tracks on different sets.
Yeah. So on the website, I finally just condensed it, and like, since the Key wasn't selling anymore, I just put some songs from the Key on T Black for Black Radio, because it was that same era. And then the songs, so they didn't have the same songs from T Black from Black Radio on Underground Mayhem.
The Key is a great cut, though. That was a good one.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I like that one too. That's fun.
So if somebody was just looking to get into Slapback, say they're watching you now, where would you tell them to start?
The compilation is a good place to start, the funk compilation, because that's kind of the clips from Fast Funketeers all the way up to 2012, and which has like Dance All Night and Token Lover, and not the newer stuff.
What's I highly recommend also is this.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. There's a lot of covers on here, but
Yeah.
man, you guys do justice to those covers.
Oh, wow, thank you. That's a big compliment.
Some of the best versions I've heard other people do of things like Disco to Go.
Oh yeah, forgot that's on there.
Atomic Dog, Body Slam, Payback. You guys
Right.
kill it. You guys kill it on there.
And then we do Think. I think we did Think too.
Yep. Think.
Yeah.
Yep. Pumping It Up.
Yeah. We faked that one.
And Steve Salz makes an appearance also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the year I first started working with Stevie.
Yeah, I think it's 2005, right? Yeah.
Yeah. That came out in 2005, but that concert was from 2004 in Belgium.
So for shows more recent of Slapback, how much of it is covers versus originals these days?
kind of depends where we're playing. And I think for me, it kind of became more about branding for Slapback than it is, hey, I wrote this song, check it out, you know? Because back when you first started, it was all about it being so important to get our songs across. And now I really just I find joy in seeing people getting excited about something that they recognize but done our way. So it's still like having our people are still getting the Slapback vibe, but it might be, you know, a song I would never ever cover, but I like we do "Hot for Teacher" by Van Halen, and it's funky, completely different. You know, Van Halen fans would probably just get the hives if they heard it, but other people they're just like, whoa. But you know, and I actually get a kick out of doing that stuff. You know, so people still what they get when they see Slapback live, they still know they're only going to get that at a Slapback show. They can't get that somewhere else because no one else is going to play those songs where we do it. And then we do medleys where we mix in Slapback songs that go into, you know, someone else's song.
Of course, you also did that update of Lowrider too that had some success for you.
Yeah. That was. We could thank Verdine White for that. He stayed on me for that. He stayed on me. He's like, Jura, got to do that Lowrider. I'm like, can I do Cisco Kid or The World Is a Ghetto or Slipping in the Darkness? Because I didn't like Lowrider. Lowrider is my least favorite war, and I love War, but Lowrider was just kind of the poppy. And I was like, no, that's not Slapback. We'll make it Slapback. I'm like, no, it really didn't seem like that was doable. And then just one day I happened to be like in the kitchen and I just heard it. And this whole thing just started coming to me from the drop it down low and all that stuff. It like literally happened just one day because I couldn't, if I don't like a song, I can't hear what to do with it, you know? And that one just kind of dropped on me like that. But there's so many war songs that I love that I wanted to do because I'm a big War fan. That's just not my favorite one, you know?
Have you ever tried playing
Heartbeat?
From Why Can't We Be Friends? The same album as Lowrider.
I don't know that one.
Go listen to that one. That one is
really?
Funky.
Really?
Yeah.
Which one has don't yeah, baby brother.
I don't know if it's Deliver the World or one of those. Yeah.
Yeah. I had the 4 cassette tape compilation War. So I didn't know where a lot of the songs, what records it came off of, but yeah, I love
Ice-T used Heartbeat for one of his better known songs.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, on the Power album.
Oh, okay.
You know Ice-T at all?
Yeah, I never forget that album cover.
Yeah.
Most guys won't forget that album cover.
No. So I pulled some other things out here, Jared, that I think you were involved in.
Oh, yeah.
So we got Octave Pussy, and we got Dodge. And how'd you become involved with some of these cats?
I call those guys the Dutch Funk.
Yeah.
Yeah, they when we got with Funk to the Max put out Ghetto Funkography, and those guys were part of Funk to the Max. And so when we went out to that same time Stevie Salas went out there and Slapback played Europe for the first time, I did a session for both of those guys while I was out there. And I think when I did the Dodge thing, I think Fuzzy from P-Funk, that was Fuzzy's son that sang on there as well.
Okay.
But yeah, so that's how I hooked up with those guys. It was just kind of like, hey, come put some of your, flavor on this. It's like, cool.
Yeah. That's I've loved seeing that over probably the past 20 years. The international market or world picking up the funk,
Yeah, I think it's great.
Yeah.
So I mean, what's funny is what did you think about Bruno Mars and when he came out with Uptown Funk?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, I'm just curious because a lot of Funketeers are very uh unhappy about that.
Well, yeah, I'll tell you how I feel. When I first heard it, I was like, wow, that sounds like that, and it sounds like that, and it sounds like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Um,
right,
I was like, wow, it's interesting. This guy's having such a big hit with this when it's
right,
really such an amalgam of
right,
like other stuff, whether it's
right,
Roger or the Gap Band or
right.
all that. So,
Yeah,
but I was glad that something that at least was reasonably funky was getting attention and getting airplay and bringing attention, I hope, to the original and the real funk. So I'm not a Bruno Mars fan per se,
yeah,
but I don't hold any grudge or animosity
right.
about it.
I feel exactly the way you did. And people, I mean, when that song came out, my email just went nuts because people were like, "Man, it sounds like that sounds like something you would do." I mean, aren't you upset? Aren't you? I'm like, no, because you don't understand. I go, if I had done Uptown Funk, it wouldn't have seen the light of day. And people, they don't know the industry enough to know. They think a hit song is created by someone writing a hit song. I go, a hit song is only a hit song if the machine gets behind it and makes it a hit song. Nowadays, it's even worse because, you know, for us, back when we hear a song maybe twice, maybe three times a day, people hear songs like, 15, 20 times a day now because they really forcing uh, what they want you to like on the radio now. It's at least pop radio. But I go, but for him and Mark Ronson to come up with this song that's has funk in the title, and it is funk. I go, I think it's the greatest thing ever. I was happy about it, but a lot of guys are like, oh,
I like to have horns. I like hearing horns again.
yes,
You
I
know,
like the horns, the claps, the fact that it sounded like real drums, and to me, it had more of a Morris Day and the Time, Minneapolis flavor to me. I was really shocked when Charlie Wilson sued him and won, especially for a song that Charlie Wilson ripped off P Funk from. But
yeah,
I mean, like, so maybe George should come back and sue you now for that after all these. Yeah, I mean, I was just like, wow. I was really shocked.
yeah.
But I mean, I didn't know you. First of all, I didn't know that you could sue someone for a chant. It wasn't even a melody. But I thought for sure the time could have, come in and maybe, ruffle some feathers because it did sound like the time to me. And Roger and Zapp.
Yeah, I think Roger and Zapp did go after him. I don't know if they got anything.
Yeah. Oh, they did afterwards?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Probably not.
So, Jared, I don't want to keep you too much longer, but I do
Yeah.
want to go back and touch on your solo record, which you had mentioned, and that came
Yeah.
out in 2014, which is your most recent recorded project, right?
Right.
Right. So, how did it come to be that you finally accepted doing a record on your own, and how did it turn out, and how was it received, against your expectations?
Well, I knew it wouldn't have I knew it wouldn't get the attention that Slapback does because you know Jared Harris and Slapback. It's like Slapback's the brand, and again, since I'm not the type to be Jared all the time, Jared, I knew it would be like, some people know me, you know what I mean? But a lot of people that are Slapback fans, I won't say a lot, but I did get some emails where it's like, I love Slapback, but your solo record is like, it's not funk. And I'm like, yeah, it's not. It wasn't supposed to be. It's since it's me by myself, and I think that's where people get misled by, being attached to Slapback and I'm the same person that's the the real foundation of slapback, because most of the time I'm doing 80% of the slapback records. Whoever changes in the band, I might throw them in there to get them to be a part of it, but the records are always usually done by me, for the most part.
There's,
But
there's still funk in that record. Funk was.
yeah. I mean, if you're deep enough, you can hear there's at least two songs I would say are funk, like Trading Day and I Am the Only One. Like those I want to make sure to have a couple funk tunes on there, but the rest is like just what I'm made of. So I just kind of did things that I would want to do without having to worry about being too far away from what Slapback's branded itself as. So I figured with my solo record I could do that and have songs like So What, or So Dogged, or any other song that starts with so.
Have you performed any of those tracks live? Or?
Slapback would play So What, and I think we played Idiot for a while. But I have a like an all-star band that, matter of fact, we're playing the first show June 21st, and it's my drummer from If It Ain't Broke Don't Funk With It, Andrew Jaimes, Slim, who came in later, like during the Underground Mayhem. He's a bass player, also guitar player. My old singer Cookie, and a keyboard player that I've never, I haven't done slapback with. And it's like a 5-piece. I'm playing guitar, and we're doing at least 5 or 6 songs off of the solo record. So I'm looking forward to it, because a lot of these songs we never played live. So I'll post some stuff so people can start seeing that stuff live, because it was really only slapback doing So What.
Yeah. So you'll have some solo stuff, some slapback stuff, some cover tunes. It'll be a mix.
Yeah, for sure.
That'll be cool.
Yeah, and Slapback's doing our first show after a 6-month hiatus. We're playing this Saturday.
Well, that'll be past by the time this airs, but
yeah, for sure. But I'm just saying we're dusting off the cobwebs, and show's gonna be crazy. And the one thing I will say that I'm happy with is sometimes you gotta take a little break. We were playing quite a bit, but man, I posted that we were coming back, and it's just been, man, you can't get reservations. Like it's gonna be mayhem this Saturday, because
do you feel like you get a sense, we talked about Uptown being a hit, Uptown Funk, but do you get a sense that funk is having a bit of a renaissance? Do you think, can we be that positive about it?
I think so. But it's crazy, even out here with the younger hipsters, like funk is like a big thing right now. It's weird. It's like it's some of these like younger white people, kids, like even like Daz Band. There wasn't like a big funk band, but they'll be like, oh yeah, no Daz Band. I'm like, really? I had a couple of interns that were working for Trucklight, and they were younger, and I was just shocked by what these guys are exposed to now. And I think Bruno Mars had a lot to do with that. I really do.
I think Bruno Mars, I think also just Clinton and P-Funk hammering away nonstop and playing colleges and doing like Lollapalooza and those kind of shows.
Right. Right.
Yeah. It's been a trip for me, because, I went way back Mothership era, where there was no other white face but me. And then going more current day, where there's very few faces of color.
Right. It's funny. It's really amazing, because I was telling my buddy, I go, if it wasn't for mostly the Latinos, like black people like walked away from funk when hip hop came, and just like a lot of the younger black kids be like, well, what's that? I don't know what that is. I'm like, really? You don't know who James Brown is? I'm like, no. It's weird.
They know their samples. That's about it.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's just really strange because it's just I'm working on a documentary right now called "The Disappearance of Black Bands: The Conspiracy," and it's just I researched some things, and it really is a conspiracy. It really is. It's really strange. And I actually you're a person I like to talk to because you actually have a lot of. Did you write a book too?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. For everything's on the one that first got a funk.
Nice.
Yeah, but yeah, I was around when that whole Black Rock Coalition started up,
Yeah, right.
and you know, and yeah,
That's where we got discovered.
what's
It was
that?
a black. That's where we got discovered. It was a Black Rock Coalition show.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
no, it was. There's been discrimination all along the way. I mean,
yeah.
in so many ways, but especially,
On both sides too.
yeah,
And that's the thing I mean get to talk about. But Slapback experienced that a lot with the first record because we were literally half black, half white. So we do a lot of these 92.3 The Beat shows where it's all black people. And you should hear the stuff we hear on stage before we played our first note. Like, some people yelling at the I had two guitar players, one was black, one was white. And black people almost like reach out to the black guitar player, like, oh, why do you need that white boy up there to help you play guitar? Like that kind of stuff. It was like we experienced so much of that in the 90s, mostly from that side. But I think as far as the industry goes, it may have been more of like the quiet discrimination happening. But as far as the discrimination that was in our face, most of it came from the black side at that time because I think it's just weird. It was weird for them to see a mix like that playing, and most people didn't know who we were until we played the last song, which was True Confessions. They're like, oh, I know that song. Yeah, I mean, then they'd be like, oh, okay.
it just Jared, it disgusts me so much. I mean, I've dealt with it my whole life, being a fan of black music and getting
Right,
ostracized from
right,
both sides, also because of that.
right, right. Of
Um,
course.
and I was there when Prince got booed off the stage at the Coliseum opening for the Stones.
Oh, with the Rolling Stones.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, I mean, I've seen a lot of it. So, yeah, I'd love to talk to you aside from this.
Yes. That no, I'm serious. I'm sure you have a lot of good things that would be really usable for that. But yeah, it's when I tell you some of the stuff I've discovered, it's kind of a trip because music is the most powerful thing that the system has to control. Music is very powerful. Music, media, of course. So when you see how music went from feel good, coming out of from James Brown, Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud, and trying to stand up and for a cause and not just being, you know, black and being thuggy and just acting out like how, Brown Colors came in the late 80s. But it's just interesting to see how it went from feel good music to Earth, Wind, and Fire, all this stuff to even when the rap came, it was like, instead of hip, hop, hip, or MC Hammer was still light.
Yeah,
Then all of a sudden they just it was all about if you didn't have a criminal record, you weren't even legit enough to get signed. Like that was the era of like you have to be a criminal to get signed with hip hop in the early 90s. Otherwise you weren't real. But at the same time they were signing like Backstreet Boys and NSYNC and that could be like
yeah.
you could be nice guys. But then it's some interesting stuff. I've been doing a lot of research and it's really interesting.
That's cool. We got to continue. Let's continue that conversation.
Yeah, we will for sure. We will for sure. Thanks
Great.
for having me. I appreciate, man. I'm
I
glad
gotta
to be
mention. I gotta mention a couple other things.
okay.
One is that if people haven't looked on YouTube and seen you on those videos where you're laying down all the instruments, those videos are so cool and fun.
Thanks.
So, and on that one track, one video, I think you are doing the Time song.
Yeah. Yeah.
And,
777. Yeah.
maybe a cameo also,
Yeah. She's strange.
and one other one.
And Humping by Gap Band.
Yeah, yeah, interesting choice. So, yeah, that is so cool. Was that hard to splice together?
Well, no, I played it as a medley. I didn't splice it. You mean the editing? Because what I did basically is I did the drums and it's not spicy. I just played it and I just kind of made transitions to how we're going to one song. So it really is me playing every instrument live, but it's the way I edit it between cameras because I didn't want to do like a split screen of like 5 different. That's not my favorite look. So I just was cutting between like kind of the highlights. Oh, this is worth showing the guitar right here because it's a cool lick. But I played all of it live. So I did the drums all the way through from She's Strange humping to 7779311. Then did the bass, keyboards. I think I did guitar next, and then I did bass and then keyboards and hand claps. It was fun to do.
Yeah. What gave you that idea?
I think it was just me thinking for once I maybe put myself out there just because I'm always quiet about it. And maybe the girl I was dating at the time was saying like, you need to start putting yourself out. No one knows. No one even knows you play all the instruments. So I think that's why I did it. Same reason why I did my solo record. And the solo record was really done. And the whole concept of the solo record was for me to do a whole record from scratch, write it, produce it, record it in a month. So I did 9 songs in November of 2007. And that was going to be the record. And then I ended up doing Jordan Sparks afterwards. So it sat. I never finished it. So then a year passed. Then here's another song. So I threw that on there. But 9 of the 15 songs were done in 30 days. Wrote it from scratch, recorded it, everything.
Wow.
So I was just like kind of challenging myself, saying, I could do it. If I could do a record by myself in a month.
Starting to get into Prince territory.
Yeah, right. Sometimes you have to challenge yourself. I'm sure I'll do it again. Because there's different things that come out of me when I know I can just do something next to it, thinking, I don't know if so-and-so's going to sing this that way or so-and-so's going to play it that way. So whenever I do slapback songs, I have slapback in mind. But when I did my solo thing, it's just, I can bend the notes however I want to and know I can harmonize with it. And that's why it's such a very diverse record too.
Before we part, Jared, I want to ask you, what would you say to this point is your most 1 or 2 unforgettable moments being in a musical career?
Well, I would say for sure working with my heroes in the studio with Bootsy and George. I'll never forget that. And I think another really unforgettable moment was we were kind of coming on the downside of Fast Food Funketeers, and we got asked to do we got asked to headline the show because 92.3 The Beat, their headliner fell out, and they wanted us to close the show. And we did a Long Beach show, and it was in front of like maybe 6,000 people. And I'll never forget us from the time starting, warming the crowd up. Slapback always has to work hard because no one really knows who we are until we get to like, True Confessions, especially back then. But I remember getting to Give Me That Funk, and we used to extend Give Me That Funk and jam on it. And there was a point where I had the whole audience going, Slapback, Fast Food, Funketeers. And it was just to see a whole crowd of people having a good time, chanting that. I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that.
That's got to be an incredible feeling.
It really is. Because that's really, hopefully, that's what we do this for. Because at my age, it's really, I think it's fine. I have my life. It's not for money. But when you have something that's in you, and now I want to try to use it because there's things, I'm a little bit more aware of things now. There's things I want to help. There's things I want to do that involves like helping situations. So
yeah.
So that's why I do it. And I thank God he gave me the talent for that and I could use it for that. But all that, and I'm doing films now too. So
Go on with your bad self.
Yeah. Hey, keep going, man.
That's fantastic, man. We're glad that you are, and thank you so much for the music you've done to this point,
Oh, thank
and
you.
for
My pleasure.
me for the show. It's been a blast.
Sure.
I hope you had a good time.
Yeah, I did. Anytime, man. Anytime. If we ever need we need to continue one of those stories that would take the whole length of the show. We'll do that. I know, but thanks for having me.
What's the best way for everyone to keep up with you and Slapback?
I would say normally the website, but right now, the website's been everything that had the website on it is gone. So I'm just now getting things restructured. We bought a house, so it's been getting that together. I'm just now turning my Slapback Jerry Harris artist hat back on. So it's just getting it together now. So I'm really happy with the studio I have now, and yeah, I'm ready to go. I'm finishing my movie right now, which it'll be available on iTunes, Google Play, and Amazon Prime to start. Then it'll be like Netflix and Hulu and stuff like that. But it's starring my rapper TJ in it, and it's hilarious. It's like a funny kind of Pulp Fiction kind of thing. It's called The Fumble and Rise of Jim Parker. So look out for that. But I directed it, shot it, and all that stuff.
So for now, Facebook following, is that the best way?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Facebook, and usually the Jerry Harris Facebook is better than the Slapback Facebook is. It's the most active.
Very good. Well, once again, thank you. It's been a blast, and
my pleasure, man.
Good luck with the film, and good luck with all your pursuits, Jerry.
Thank you. I appreciate it, man.
Hey, as I told you, we got a little bit into the cave vibe at the end there with the Truth and Rhythm Studios. The lights had gone out, and I tried to keep the bats away, but we got through it, and I hope you enjoyed it. Wasn't Jerry a lot of fun to talk to? He's certainly been through the music industry and life ringer in general, but through it, he's shown that he's so resilient and also positive. Gotta love that. The bottom line is that Jerry is a tremendous talent. I urge you to support Slapback Music and his other creative pursuits. Again, I send special thanks to Jerry Harris for sharing his time and stories with us. Also, sincere thank you to you, the viewers and listeners. Be sure to look out for upcoming Truth and Rhythm episodes and catch up with previous installments on funkinstuff.net, on YouTube, iTunes, and other leading providers. Be sure to subscribe to Truth and Rhythm. You do that by subscribing to the Funkin' Stuff channel on YouTube. We need your support. Show the world that you love these artists and you support their music, their creations, and all they've brought to your lives and made your lives so enriched with their great music. Funk, jazz, and R&B. That's what we feature on this program. Show your support. If you've already subscribed, get friends and family to do so. Yeah. Want to hear from you also, so drop me an email at scottg@funkinstuff.net. Let me know who else you want to see on the show. This is a two-way dialogue, people, and I'm hearing from a lot of you, but keep it coming, okay? So I love it. As always, until next time, this is Scott, Dr. G. Xcrollfine. Probably next time I will be coming from the Truth and Rhythm Studios once again. Although if you like this, let me know that too, and maybe I'll do more outside or remote intros and outros. But until then, keep on vibrating to the rhythm of the one.